Greg, this is Cheryl. What music are you playing?
Hey, Cheryl,
Hey,
I can hear you.
okay. What was the music you had on?
Oh, that was me just jamming out to some chilled music there. I went and saw a music festival this weekend, and that was my background music before we start our show tonight. So, did you like it?
Yeah, I'm just curious, who was the singer?
That is a band that I had not heard of that I found this weekend called Bonnie Light Horsemen.
Hmm.
3 words, Bonnie Light Horsemen. They're all really big people from other bands who got together. Really chill, but really musical. It's really nice. So look it up.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you're here. All right, we're coming up on 6. We'll start probably about 6:02 with some stragglers, but when we do these things, we typically just move on. I appreciate you spending time with me tonight. This should be, well, I know it, though we're going to cover a lot of information. It should be really helpful. So guys, this is tonight we're going to be talking not only about uh, first-time home buyers, we'll be talking about all home buyers, whether you bought a home now or not, just because the market's unique, which it really always is. And I am running a chat box and letting people in. So if it looks like I'm pushing a bunch of buttons, it's because I'm pushing a bunch of buttons. You guys, there's going to be a lot of information coming your way. We're going to start here in about a few seconds, and we'll stop for questions. And additionally, I will send this PowerPoint to you afterwards for you to look over. This isn't opinion. There's a lot of fact here, a lot of charts and graphs. And we'll in fact talk about myth versus fact today. So if it feels like a lot, it is. And we will send it to you tomorrow so you have a copy of it to look over. All right, with that being said, it is 6:02. I'm clicking people in as they join. Welcome. My name is Greg, and I work here with the Cowart team. We have been helping families here in Central Virginia buy homes for 22 years now. And today we've had a couple of series of seminars. Tonight's seminar, webinar, if you will, is going to focus on the market today, how to buy a home in 2024. As I said before, whether you're a first-time home buyer or if you've bought 5 homes, one of the wonderful challenges of real estate is that every market's different. So not only do you have the regional differences, and not only do you have the seasonal fluctuations, but really, you've got that over time, wait 2 years and home buying is going to look really different. And so we titled this Here and Now just because we wanted to highlight how unique home buying is and how much it can change over time. Tonight we will take some questions. You'll leave with, we're going to talk a little bit about mortgage rates, where they're coming from, where they're going. We are going to answer some of your common questions. We're going to demystify some of the myths, talk about specifically home values in Central Virginia and Richmond and what they're doing, give you a little indication about what we see in the future for Richmond housing. Most importantly, some tips on how to win in this market. We'll leave you with some next steps as well. Again, we will stop right on time at 6:45. I do have a chat box going over here. I'm going to say hello. Here we go. Hello. That's me. I'm Greg. And if you want to put any questions in here, feel free to use the chat box. I think everyone can see it. And I will pause a couple of times. Hey, I wanted to say just thanks for attending tonight. There are a lot of people thinking about buying homes, and we always talk about thinking about it because I feel like if I stop 10 people on the street and I put a microphone in their face and I said, "Are you thinking about buying a home?" I think probably almost 6 or 7 out of 10 of people at any one time are thinking about buying a home, whether it's a second home, investment property, or moving their primary residence. So there are a lot of people thinking about it. You're here, you're doing it, and it's going to mean that you're going to be more ready when the time comes to buy. Let's see here. All right, mortgage rates. What are mortgage rates doing? All right, today we're probably around 6.99. Remember, there's like 6 or 7 different types of home loans. Some have lower rates than others. So when we say 6.99, we're talking about a 30-year fixed mortgage, and we're also talking about a conventional or a regular mortgage. In the past 12 months, it's been kind of zigging back and forth. We've been as high as 7.9 in the past 12 months and as low as 6.3. We really kind of started off the year with a pretty good start and rates dropped and then they came back. If you look at this chart here, you can get this on the internet. This is the history of a 30-year fixed rate in the United States. You're going to notice over here, if you can see my cursor, a big jump up here after.
Hey, Greg, you need to share your screen.
Oh, I think I am.
Okay, sorry. Now I can see it. Sorry.
Cool. I want to make sure. So we've seen a real big jump up here since COVID. But here's a little fact for you. They started measuring rates in 1972, and the average since 1972 is 7.73. The highest we've ever been is in October of 1981. We were at 18.6. And the lowest was in January of 2021, and we were at 2.7%. So today's rate around 6.99 is technically under the national average since they started measuring rates. It just feels a little high since we've come out of the one time in a world 100-year pandemic and what they did to interest rates. The mortgage rates are driven by the federal government, something called the Fed, and typically mortgage rates hover about 2% higher than the Fed funds rate. This chart is a chart of the Fed funds rate since 1950. We saw the fastest increase we've ever seen in interest rates in 21 and 22. We saw interest rates go, it wasn't very fun, from 3% to over 7% in 12 months. And some of this was all the money we spent trying to keep our economy from collapsing during COVID. When you feed all that wood into the fire, it starts to spark up, and both inflation, wages, everything went through the roof. And now we're trying to tame the inflation that was caused by COVID. You know, it's not really that rates are so high right now. We just saw that in the prior slide. Rates are actually somewhat average. It's that we're seeing stagnant wages right now, and we're seeing inflation, and we're seeing an appreciation where homes continue to get more expensive. So it's really the combination of all those three plus mortgage rates being in the 7s that are making families feel pretty cramped regarding trying to buy right now. All right, Greg, look into your crystal ball. Where are rates going? You guys, you should not believe me because all of us mortgage folks, we are wrong. The Fed told us they were done raising rates last Thanksgiving, and they said they weren't going to raise again. And we thought they would cut 6 times this year. And as you can see here, there have been, oops, let me go back to that screen. There have been 0 cuts this year. They haven't decreased the rates once. This is a probability indicator below, which is showing that on the September Fed meeting, currently there's a 60% predictor of interest rates dropping in the September Fed meeting. You can actually go online like betting on a sport and see the probability of the interest rate movement. I do think we will see at least 1 cut coming. I think it's going to be in either September or November. There's a lot of reasons that we're seeing this now, but it has been a year where rates didn't do what we thought. So we do see mortgage rates going probably first cut sometime in the 4th quarter. This is really cool, guys. This is pretty technical. Again, I'm going to send you this presentation. You can pull this up online. This is called a dot plot. This is where the 18 Fed members vote anonymously about where they see rates going. So this isn't me. This is the decision makers. Each of these dots is one of them voting. And down at the bottom, this is, oh, I cut it off. This is 2024, 2025. Oh, you can see it here in 2026. This is the next 3 years. And we can see there's a clear downward feeling about where the Fed members say they plan on voting in the future. So I think it's not only speculation to say it's likely rates will slightly decrease in the future. We're hearing this directly from the from the Fed themselves and the members. 1 or 2 more points, and then I'll take some questions. This is really what people get completely wrong. They feel like there's interest rate really impacts payment. It doesn't that much. Right here, a 1/4% change in a rate is $25 a month. So if rates were to go from 7 to 6.8, it would lower someone's payment by $25 a month. If rates went down a 1/4% from 7 to 6.75, that would change your payment by $50 a month. Well, Greg, every little bit matters, and it does, but it's just nice to have the correct data points. I'm seeing a typo here, but at 500K, it's not much difference. It's 44K or $88 lower. Down at the bottom, home price, every $10,000 in price or every $10,000 in your mortgage is about $70 a month. So these are 2 really important slides. So 100 grand, think multiples of 7. 100,000 is $700 a month. Every 10,000 is going to be $70 a month. So I think this is really important when we deal with emotions versus fact to keep this in mind. All right, let's take some questions. I got my chat up, or you can feel free to join in if you have a question. Thanks for joining us tonight. We will end at 6:45. Any questions y'all want to bring up so far? All right, we'll roll. All right, so we talked about interest rates. I think we're at a time where we've held interest rates where they are for a while, and I think we will see some lowering interest rates. All right, thanks, Greg. Where are home prices headed? And you know, it's weird. We thought that with the price of money going up, the price of mortgages going up, that home prices would come down. There were a lot of talking heads, candidly, that hop on TV shows but don't know what they're talking about, that were saying that we'll see a collapse or we'll see home prices come down. They're completely wrong, and this slide tells you why. There are too many families being formed through immigration, death, marriage, babies, all kinds of things. The United States is just experiencing a lot of people who have demand for housing, and the demand far outpaces the supply. This has been the case, guys. Look, since really since 2014 was the first year that we had more houses being formed than new homes, and it really hasn't changed since. So we just have a simple supply and demand problem. Are home prices going to go down? They're not. How do I know? Well, I'll show you. Again, today's webinar is about facts. This is the movement of home prices in the United States since 1960, and not once have they really gone down. a little blimp here. I'm gonna show you this on another slide. Each gray area is a recession. So we do see some go down here during the recessions, but not much. Now look over here on the right. Look what happened when we had 3% rates. Home prices really spiked. Do I think we're gonna keep seeing 20%, 15% appreciation? Probably not over time. It's not sustainable, but there's nothing showing that interest rates will likely come down. Here's another slide for you. This is one of my favorites. This is the average appreciation on homes in America since World War II. So that's 1942. And the reason I like it is if it's pink, that is when nationally home prices went down. And it's only happened 6 times. And of the 6, well, let's see, 2, 3, yeah, that's right, 6. 5 were right around 07 through 11. So betting on homes in the United States is a good bet. You're not like a bond, you're not going to get rich overnight, but home prices steadily move up, and this is a great chart to show you that. What is the average appreciation of a home in the United States? It's right around 4.5 to 4.7% per year. Well, think that's a big deal or not a big deal? Let me just do some quick math. At 400,000, which is around what a home cost in Richmond right now, 5% is $20,000. So everyone who's in a home likely saw their home go up 5%. I'll show you that in a second. We're all not only living in our homes, but they're slowly gaining value. Just like milk goes up, so do home prices. All right, let's talk about Richmond. One of my friends who's a realtor sent this to me. This is straight off of the counties surrounding Richmond. 14, 15, 15, 16. You can see it. Did home prices spike? Yeah, we saw double-digit appreciation right here in 20 and 21. But even this year, with rates in the 7 and 8s, nationally, we're seeing appreciation of 6.5%. The realtors you talk to will tell you there's not enough homes in our area, that homes are selling with multiple offers, and that's why you're here. Strategy is really critical. So we are seeing a 4 to 12% increase in home prices, and in some neighborhoods, it's a lot more than that. Some neighborhoods are seeing well over 20% appreciation year over year. But whether you're looking at Highland Springs as being a place you can go to get away from this, or Goochland or Chester, that's no longer the case. There's almost not a neighborhood not in the surrounding counties that's not seeing significant upward pressure on pricing. Where are we going to go? I'm not going to bet on Richmond home prices going down. There's too many families wanting to move. If mortgage rates go down, and I'm telling you they will, it's just going to bring out more people who are waiting on rates to go down. So I think home prices will go up even quicker in 2025, because when money gets cheaper, people can afford more. And if there's a shortage of things, there's going to be more competition. You guys, my team's lucky enough to have around 100 to 150 families call us every month. We know what's going on. We're on the front lines. These are not paid leads. These are friends referring their coworkers or family members. These are realtors referring people or builders. And I cannot tell you how many of our clients are from out of town right now. I see people leaving Nashville, Chicago, Richmond, Boston, and they are looking for towns in the South like a Richmond, like a Chattanooga, like a Birmingham, and these towns are getting huge movement of people. That's only helping Richmond or hurting it, depending on how you see it. Or our location just under Washington, D.C. and right on 95, 2 hours from, it's funny because when I call people who are moving here from Denver, they're like, I love Richmond. It's 2 hours from everything, 2 hours from the beach, 2 hours from DC, 2 hours from the mountains. We're going to continue to get people moving in. And then there's no reason to think that appreciation doesn't continue with the shortage we're seeing. Could you wait to buy? This is probably my favorite slide. Down at the bottom, it says, don't step over dollars to chase pennies. Well, if rates go down 1%, and I'm not even sure they will, but they should move down. But let's say you're right and they go down 1%. Our average loan amount is 375. So of all the people we help, the average loan is 375. And from 7 to 6% at a $375,000 mortgage, your payment will go down $250 a month. $250 a month if rates go down 1%. However, if home prices go up 5% a year, which I just showed you on these slides they have and will, the average home price in Richmond, Virginia right now is $489 amongst the counties, which surprised me. $489 at 5% is $25,000 a year or $2,000 a month. If you wait to buy, you're hoping to save $250 a month if rates drop, but you're for sure not capturing 5% appreciation, which is $2,000 a month. I just think that's the most powerful slide I'm going to show you today. So let's stop right there and take questions. The chat box is empty. We're at 6:20. I'm cruising. Am I leaving people behind here? Are we doing all right?
Hey, Greg,
Yeah, I hear somebody.
it's Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Just a quick question. This is kind of a hypothetical, but do you think if interest rates, let's say 2025 dip below, I don't know, 5% again, those people who are on the sidelines, sellers, are going to then be comfortable to list their home at that point, which may increase inventory? Or do you think we're still going to have this supply and demand issue, even if rates do go down? Because, I mean, if we stay at this, seller's market even into 2025 and we get 3 to 5 interest rates again, I mean, these prices are going to be astronomical.
Yeah, we think when rates fall, it's going to be really good news for the market. We think there's going to be, just to reverse what's happened, Nick. So let me tell you my 2 cents on this. You can't overcome the supply and demand issue. And by the way, guys, if we're in Des Moines, Iowa, maybe this isn't the case. I'm only talking about here and now, Richmond, Virginia. Nick, if rates drop into the upper 5s, families who are sitting on 3% and don't like their homes, which there's a ton. How do I know? Because I'm talking to them. If rates hit 5.99, that's the number a lot of people will move. Well, what happens when everybody starts to move? Well, there's a feeding frenzy. Well, what happens? My favorite analogy is musical chairs. You know, when you run around and they pull one chair out and everyone's running around? I feel like from a supply and demand standpoint, we're just going to see, with money being cheaper and with more pressure on the market, we're going to see home prices surge. I feel like the number one reason to buy now, where with rates at 7%, is to beat the appreciation race of 2025 and 2026. So I don't think everybody moving is going to solve it, Nick, because everybody still needs a chair and we just don't have enough homes. Did that help?
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you think we're eventually going to hit a ceiling, or not until supply
Yeah, we're
and
already
demand
hitting a ceiling now, and we'll hit this because families can't afford these homes in terms of the monthly payment. Americans have a lot of debt right now because we're still spending, even though we only 70% of Americans have $1,000 for an emergency fund. So I don't question the American buyer who just can't seem to not buy. And people outgrow their homes. They either need to downsize as life changes or upsize. Homes are things we move through as our life changes. So the idea that people need to move is going to be a constant. Did I answer that?
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions before we roll? So yeah, I think rates going down will cause sellers to list, but I think the feeding frenzy just drives home prices getting moved up more. Now look, Nick, if you want a certain house on a certain block, will waiting for rates drop means that house more likely to come available? It does, but it means that there'll be more competition. All right, let's roll. Let me make sure. Yeah. All right, here we go. This is a good one. Myth versus fact. You know, everybody's an expert in housing. I'm so glad you're here. We're on the front lines of this. So let's talk through rates are so high. Well, we just saw a slide. Are rates so high? Well, they are so high compared to what they were during the pandemic, but historically, no, we're under the average interest rate by almost 1%. It's just they seem high compared to where we were 4 years ago. Interest rates are where they are, and we're seeing 20% credit cards, and um, there's a lot of reasons to buy a home other than just interest rate. And I don't feel like unless a pandemic comes back or we see some terrible in our economy, I don't think we're ever seeing 3 and 4 again. I mean, I started in 2002 and we've never been anywhere near 4%. It's a anomaly, almost like a beach ball you stick under the water. It just can't stay there. It's got to pop back up. So rates are not so high. Rates are higher than they were. I'll wait till rates come down to buy. Hopefully you've heard us kind of refute that. Well, one, when are rates going to come down? And two, you're missing out on mortgage interest deduction. You're living in a home you don't like. You're missing out on appreciation. And we're going to see homes get bid up when interest rates come down. And really, interest rates going down by 1% really doesn't change your payment that much. Home prices are high. I agree. Richmonders are not happy about what homes go for. I have to remind my Richmond families who say, Greg, these homes aren't worth this much. Well, a home's worth what someone's willing to spend. And there's a lot of people coming in from Atlanta and Chicago who are fine spending this much. And it just takes one of them. So Richmonders are having to come to grips on the fact that their town is pretty special and a lot of people want to move here. And, you know, sellers are going to accept the highest offer. But it's not like waiting is going to cause home prices to come down. We've showed you that graph as well. Competition's too high. I can't buy. This is absolutely not true. My team is helping 25 families buy a home this month in July. People are winning every day. Last year, 10,000 homes were sold. But when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And this is where this presentation is really going to go, which is that the market's tough. And I talk about it like a boxing match. And if you want to win, you've got, I could tell you it's easy, but it's not. I've got to tell you that we've got to prep. We've got to practice our jab. We've got to get in the gym. We've got to work out, and we've got to go out in the market ready to win. And prepared buyers are winning. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Also, there's ways to buy less shiny homes. I mean, the realtors I know are reminding us that there's homes that have been on the market for 3 weeks. There's homes that you can pay less than offer price. It's just, I think we're all watching too much HGTV, and the sexy homes in the sexy neighborhoods that look just right are just going for crazy. You guys would not believe what I'm seeing. I mean, I'm seeing a home list for 500 that goes for 850. It's just wild right now. But I don't see that changing. Prepared, confident buyers win. You've got to get a great agent. You've got to do your work up front. You've got to get a great lender that invests time. You've got to be willing to win, and you can win in this market. My house is at 3%. I don't like my house anymore. It doesn't fit, but should I stay? I don't think you should stay. I think you should at least call us and call an agent and let us do numbers for you. The numbers, a lot of people don't over exaggerate how much the numbers really are a factor at 3%. I write down, our time on earth is brief, love where you live. I think it's true. And then down at the bottom, I have more people becoming landlords than ever before. The amount of people keeping their home at 3% and moving into the next home, we're getting a ton of this. I know the realtors will tell you this too. But if you love your 3% so much you don't want to leave it, but your house doesn't fit, keep it, make it a rental, and move into your next home. I want to move, but I don't know where to start. You know, most lenders, it's go to my website, apply online, upload all of these documents, and then I'll send you a pre-approval letter and your interest rate 7%. And that's what our competition is doing. That's what every lender does, except for a few. With us, we don't do any of that. There's no charge to talk. We will help you create a plan. we'll do a consultation. So if you don't know where to start, you're here, tell your friends, just give us a call. We make getting started easy. I don't want to move twice. You would not believe how creative we can get to help someone move twice, avoid moving twice. Remember, most places will not accept I'll buy your home when mine sells. We call that contingent. This is a real problem because all your money's in your house and you want to move, but you have to buy first. Well, Greg, how do I buy first if my money's in my current home? We'll help you through that. There's a lot of strategy talk. Some people are comfortable with it, some people aren't, but there's a lot of different options. So we listen first, and then we'll give you a couple plans. All right, questions there. Myth versus fact. All right, we are cruising. Let's keep rolling. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but credit scoring, you don't have to be perfect to buy a home. I mean, 100% financing starts at just fair credit. You can get a
George, can you do me a favor?
or a 620 credit score.
And wash your hands and unloosen my ball for me.
That's Miss Marilyn. Miss Marilyn, can you mute yourself? So if you don't know if you're good on credit, we can just do a single credit pull and we can actually give you a lot of advice. I'm going to send you this so you can read this over, but credit's really confusing. You know, if you get a free credit report, an auto, a credit card, or a mortgage on the same day, they all have different scores. So it's very confusing about how credit works. Credit, of all the things I can fix, is easy. Not in all cases. There's some people who have such extensive bad payment histories that it's going to take a while. But for most folks, fixing credit is pretty easy. So don't let credit make you think you can't buy a home. All right. What's next? You need to interview. First of all, you need to get serious about buying. Make sure you want to get in the boxing match. And then you need to interview your realtor and interview your lender. And then you need to pick them. And it's great when they work together for you. And there are 6,000 realtors in Richmond, Virginia. And when I start telling you how many of them sell a lot of homes, the number's pretty low. So just because your neighbor's a realtor, or just because you know someone in high school who's a real estate agent, you want to hire a realtor who helps a lot of families, and you want to hire a lender who helps a lot of families. This is your biggest purchase in your life. Get it right. And then we'll get to work. You're going to have to learn the market, learn all this stuff I'm going to show you in a second. And if you're willing to do it, you will win on a home you love. Be ready in advance. Understand different prices and different payments. Understand how much money you're going to need. This next thing here is called an underwriting commitment letter. This is new. We never used to do this. Now, almost every one of our clients, we're going through underwriting before we look for houses, which is completely the opposite. It used to be you would get a house and then go through the mortgage process. Now we flipped it. And the reason we do that is because it's so impressive when 10 people want a home and we're like, hey, look at us. We've got a great agent, a great local lender who and we're through underwriting. And every little thing helps with how competitive the market is. And with all of these things on the right, you need to know it in advance because this is all going to go down at night and on the weekends. 70% of offers, 70% go down at night and on the weekends. And if you don't like working at night or on the weekends, don't be a realtor and don't be a mortgage lender, unless you want to work for Quicken or a bank, because those guys are off at 5. And that's not how we work on the team. And these agents don't like those institutions because they have a bad history of getting things done. Because really, real estate's kind of an around-the-clock thing. So it's going to go down on the weekend. We're going to have someone on call, and we're going to need to talk through all of this in advance. So when you see a home you love, we can run real numbers for you and talk strategy. This is a printout we use all the time, which is all the different tips that we're going to talk you through about how to buy a home. And you're going to need to know these because this is the language your realtor is going to use. And we need to coach you. And the realtors are teaching you, at least the good realtors are teaching you this as well. But every one of these, the realtor, as you write a contract, is going to be asking you these questions, not just what price you want to offer, but all of these other questions too. You know, what appraisal gap? You'll see that mentioned here, appraisal gap, home inspection, calling the agents. You wouldn't believe what goes into a winning offer, and we are winning because we do it the hard way. We're winning on a lot of our offers because our clients are committed and they're putting in the work up front. So it's easy to talk with us. You just text or call us. Let us know which loan officer. There's 6 of us that you want to talk to, and then we don't even ask for your info. We just talk. And that's me. I'm the leader of the team. That's what I care about. Why do we make this hard on people? And the reason other lenders make it hard is because they don't want you to, it's so silly. They want to make it so hard you'd never think of calling anyone else. We don't work that way. If you want to call someone else, that's fine. We think our way of doing business is different and better. And then we'll help you create a total plan, a true mortgage plan, and we'll guide you through it. If you like us, you can hire us and we'll work with you. We don't need a hard credit pull. I don't need any money, and I don't even need you to upload a bunch of documents. We'll help you out. We're the not fun part of buying a house. The realtors have the fun part. Our values are we want to be a good value, whether it's interest rate, how much time we put in. We feel like we're a great value for what we provide. We love to educate our clients. These are our 5 team values: being responsive. There's 7 of us. And so someone's always available around the clock pretty much to help you. And we work as a team. Integrity, we really do care. This is a helping profession. At least that's how we see it. Most of our team have been teachers or counselors. And I wish I didn't care because mortgage lending is hard, but we do. We help people through a real difficult time. And our team approach is really unique. We actually split commissions on our team. So everybody cares. And if you're on this team, you're kind of all in for our high standards for what we how we help our clients. If you had to hire a mortgage lender and you're my brother, hey Greg, ring ring, I'm your brother. What do I look for in a mortgage lender? Well, it depends. And sometimes you might look for who the lowest rate is. Right now, I would not look for that. I would look for who's going to educate me, who's available on nights and weekend by cell phone, and who's got the best reputation in town. Because the realtors really care about who the lender is. And your realtor's reputation really matters too. It's a market of kind of who knows who and who trusts who, because these sellers are going to sell this home once and they need to get it right. And so they're very careful about who they pick. I love to say we put in 70% of our work with our clients before they write a contract. This is what we do differently. We're not just throwing out a pre-approval letter and telling you qualify at 800 grand. That does people no good. We team with your agent. No matter who you choose, we're going to team with them. And we do use text, we communicate, and we do offer competitive loan terms. Well, Greg, do I get all this and my rate's terrible? No. 400 people choose us a year. We're very competitive. But really, that's a lot less important. I mean, what good is an interest rate on a house you don't win? Jesse, who's our sales manager, came up with our tagline. It's grow forward confidently. And we believe confident clients win. If you need a great agent, call us. We know some great agents. Probably if you're here, an agent sent you, but there's a lot of folks that don't know where to start in choosing an agent. We know people who think the way we do. You need a vendor, someone to pave a house, pave a driveway, someone to put up a fence. We know a lot of people and we're working on our vendor list too. We can help you there. I wrote customer service is not dead. I don't know about you, but when I go out in the market, sometimes I'm like, where did customer service go? I wrote, you just have to know where to look. We've been doing mortgages for 22 years. There's 97 years of experience on our team. If you look us up in Google, we've got 250 ratings at a 4.9, and we walk people through really a tough process. I'm proud of that. We're in the top 1% of people who do this in the United States, and this year we'll help about 300 families buy a house. All right, let me tell you the final things, what I really want you to know. Okay, we have a podcast. I'll show it to you. It's called the Straight Talk Podcast. It's on Apple and Spotify. So feel free to look it up. I think we're up to like 15 episodes. But let me give you some straight talk. So here it comes. I got 3 things I really want to tell you. This sheet, we call it a must-want wish list. I feel like it's the key to winning. Number 1, you and the other decision makers, whether it's your mom who's giving you the money, your boyfriend, your cousin, everybody needs to be on the same page, because your realtor is going to say on a Sunday morning, are you ready? And people call me and they're like, Greg, it's so expensive, I don't know what to do. And I say, well, pull out your list. Does the home meet all of the things you must have in a home? How did it do on what you want to have, but not must? And how do you do on your wish list? Filling out this form is critical because you're going to have to make a fast decision on a home. The second thing is really, I think this reminds you of the why. Buying is hard work. You got to put in the time up front, interview your agents, interview your lender, do all your paperwork. Why are you really moving? And I think this form reminds people when it gets tough out there, we can pull it back out and be like, look, this is going to be worth it. So I love this list. We're going to hand it to you. Text or email any of us. We'll send it to you. Your agents will go over this with you, but in case they don't, this is really important stuff. I've got a family right now. We don't lose, but we've probably lost 13 weeks in a row. And I am getting with her and her husband this Thursday just because they're not on the same page. And the reason we're losing is because the 2 of them can't make up their minds. So we're going to say, time out. You 2 have got to get on the same page here. Otherwise, we need to help other families. All right, next. If you ask me what you're pre-approved for, you are pre-approved for way more than you should buy. For just so you know. I mean, we can typically pre-approve people for almost double of what they want to pay. Do not go to your mortgage lender and say, well, what can I afford? This is one of my biggest issues that I run, and we've started teaching budgeting. So every quarter we teach a budgeting class, and this is the budget I use. You really need to sit down with your family and do at least once, do this budget and really plug in different monthly payments and see what you can afford. I need you to tell me by doing your written budget. And we have this all on the website. If you want to do a budget tomorrow, you can go to our website after tonight and see how it works. The third thing I really want you to know is that your competition is taking shortcuts. They're applying online with an internet lender and getting a quick pre-approval letter, and that's it. You can outwork your competition. You can be more educated, move quicker, and you can win on a home you love by doing your preparation, your planning, and your strategy. I wrote at the bottom here, it's cut off, but anyone thinking of buying in the next 12 months, we want to talk to. 12 months. I wrote down, don't put on your makeup. Don't think you need to be pretty before you call us. You don't. Come as you are, let us talk, and then we can help you with the numbers and help you with what to expect. But anyone really looking to buy in the next 12 months needs to have a plan, and we can get, by getting ahead, I mean, I'm so glad when people call me 6 to 9 months ahead of buying. All right, questions, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, thank you so much for joining. Let me take a screenshot of all you fine people that are here so I can be sure I send this to you in the morning. There we go. I have recorded this as well, so it'll be available for you if you want to listen again. We do these a lot. Here's our website on the right. You can go back and read through past presentations. Jesse's doing Budget Like a Boss if you want to work on your budgeting in July. We teach the game of money in August, and then we'll run this presentation again in September. All of this is on our website at thecowardteam.com. This is our podcast. If you like some of this stuff, whether it's how to buy investment property, how to do a budget, I don't know. We got so much stuff, how to lead, should you buy land, what the heck's going on with interest rates, fun facts about home ownership. We have a good time on our podcast. Please listen if you'd like to visit. And we finished 2 minutes early. Yay, thank you for joining us. If you know friends thinking of moving, places don't typically do this stuff, so please just send them our info, text them an intro. Let's take some final questions if we have anything. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else I can answer for you?
Greg, this is Cheryl. I was just curious, what's your feeling about home inspections now? Has that changed since the heat of the pandemic?
Remember that it depends on the neighborhood and it depends on the county. More and more of our families are having to win by moving outside. I like to say today's rural is tomorrow's suburbs. But Cheryl, in the surrounding counties of Richmond, I am seeing most people have to waive the home inspection entirely, or at least waive a portion of it. When I see a contract come through where there is an inspection, I'm a little surprised. Now, we have seen a weird softening of the market in the past 2 weeks. I don't know why, but I'm seeing some people win right now in ways I have not seen. I think we're a little calm before the storm, and you know, July can be a little slow with people taking vacations. So it really depends on month to month. But I want you to get a home inspection. I have a family right now who's going to get a home inspection after they move in, just to have one. I think it's a valuable tool, but we are seeing most people have to waive it in this market, or at least waive a portion of it. But hey, if you want to buy in Prince George, or you want to buy in Hopewell or Louisa, that may not be the case. Real estate's still very regional. Any other questions? Let me know how we did. You've got our email. You love to hear your comments. Was there something I didn't cover that you'd like to have seen covered? But otherwise, we are just so glad you can be here. I hope you guys have a great night. Not all lenders are the same. What we're doing is special in the market, and let's make a plan and let's win on a home you love. With that, I will sign off. Thanks so much, guys, for attending. See you soon.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye, y'all. Thanks again.